All right, we're back with another show. Got an awesome guest today, but first let's thank the sponsors. Head over to www.johnbartoloshow.com and make sure you check out all the different sponsors listed there. There's so many. But this week we're specializing in Volquartsen Firearms. So make sure you go check out Volquartsen. Volquartsen makes some awesome stuff. I love what Scott's doing over there. It's tremendous stuff. And we're lucky enough to have one of his shooters on, Sofia. What's going on, Anna?
Hi, thank you for having me.
This is amazing. So I want you, I love having some of the younger shooters on because the perspective and just your insight to the industry is really what's going to shape the future. But first tell me and all the listeners kind of how you got into shooting, how you got into the modeling side and everything, and like why this, what made this come to be?
Yeah, okay. So when I was like about 12 or 11, I would go shooting to the shooting range with my dad. It was just like a normal Sunday evening hobby that we would do together because my dream is to become an FBI agent. So he decided to start working with me. And it would be like every Sunday. And the owner of the place actually told me that competitive shooting was a thing. And I actually had no idea what that was. When I was in high school, the security guard from my high school actually talked to the owner of the range, and he was like, well, if she shoots very good, I practice with her, I take her to the range. This is the security guard talking, and we decided to start a team. I started practicing, and he started explaining like what this was and how there's tournaments. I had absolutely no idea what this was. I didn't know that these competitions existed. I didn't know what 3-gun was. I had no idea. So I decided to start a team. So it was just me and then a couple of other boys that were from my school. And we thought this was going to be a team that was going to be a part of the school, but the school didn't accept it. So we decided to go alongside. And it was very scary at first because I was just with older guys that I knew them, but it wasn't like friends.
Right.
So we started that, and it was very nerve-wracking because when I started shooting, when he started explaining what this was, he was like, well, you have talent, like you know how to do it. So we started competing, and my first big competition, I got appendicitis, so I couldn't really compete, and I didn't really know what it was. It was a really hard year for me, and then I got called into modeling, helping a boutique here in Brownsville. And I was actually scared because I had both things going on, and I had never done like shooting or modeling, especially together. So I did both. So I started shooting more, and I started modeling, and during those times, I was having a very hard time at school with friends. And so I kind of took this as like a positive thing that came into my life. I used it as therapy. I loved practicing. I loved going to shoot. And I never took it as something like strong because like when people tell you like, oh, what do you think about guns? Like people immediately go to the negative instead of the positive. Like for me, like guns like gave me such a positive vibe in my life. Like they helped me so much, and I think up to this day, it is a very good therapy that I have, especially like when you're going through like tough times or like you're stressing out. I think it really helped me.
Now it's crazy because I like having some of the younger shooters on, as I said earlier, and I've had Dakota Overland on, Cheyenne, I have a long relationship with Colby Pavlock I've known for years, and and his family. It's so refreshing. And when Scott mentioned you and we were talking, what I really like is you're kind of building the perfect resume to really make a run at the shooting world, because there's a lot of modeling that goes into it. There's a lot of, obviously you have to be a good shooter, and you've accomplished that. And you're what, 18, 19? So you've been in it now for 7 or 8 years, right? But it's crazy. Time flies. And you're starting to win. You're starting to make, have some accomplishments. It's a really rewarding, you talk about the therapy of it. It's a really rewarding sport in that sense. I mean,
it is absolutely.
It's almost like you get to mag dump your troubles away sometimes,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
there's a lot to that. Now, you keep your profile and you keep some of your stuff private, is that a byproduct of not wanting any backlash because of the guns, or do you just feel like you want to keep that side of you private for now?
I feel like I keep it private because it's not just shooting, which I should make it just shooting or have another profile.
Right.
I just haven't got into that. But I should. I know Cheyenne has a really good page, and I admire her so much for having her page. It's awesome. Like, it has a lot of content, and I wish to get there one day. But since my page right now is modeling my personal life and shooting, I don't know. I haven't decided to make it public. My Facebook is public, I think. No, like, you have to, like, send a request, but I think you can see some things. But I don't know. My Instagram, I don't know. I think of it as, like, since I have a lot of friends from, like, school, and I sometimes think that, like judgment will be thrown because I'll start putting, like, content, or, like, people will think that it's not right, or I don't know, because I've gotten a lot of, like, backlash from posting stuff or, like, retweeting things that the NRA puts. So I don't know. Like, I'm not really comfortable yet with putting stuff. And the only things I put are, like, obviously when I win competitions or when I'm practicing. It's not really, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that, like, very deeply, but I should. I think I should have a personal page for shooting.
You just have to get to the point in a way you don't give a fuck. You'll get there.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable enough.
You'll get there, as time goes on. But, I really like that you touched on the therapeutic component, because it's something I haven't talked about a lot on the show. And a lot of people that look for that release, whether it's through athletics or getting the aggression out or whatever it is, it's fun to just get on the range and just kind of do your thing and just be able to train and have a good time. And now, your generation, being not only physically fit and being in good condition is important at these matches, but also having good mental clarity. Max and a lot of the guys, Shane, they're focusing a lot on the mental now. Yeah. Because the difference between the top contenders is 0.1s, at this point, 0.001. So, I when I talk to JJ, Shane, or Max, they're constantly talking about the mental. So you have to train on a level that prepares your mind going into these competitions and getting your head right. Are you planning on doing it in college?
Well, I applied to A&M in College Station here in Texas, and they actually have the Corps of Cadets, which is, like, the military thing. And I was planning on doing it. I'm not so sure, especially right now with everything going on. But, I mean, I do plan on shooting as well, like, by myself, keep going on with Volquartsen, because they also have, like, a shooting team, like a scholastic shooting team. But I'm not so sure. On my own, I will. I don't know if I'm going to do it in a team, but I might do it individually. I'm not so sure yet.
Yeah. It's different in school, right? And it's a different kind of sport where you just may not enjoy it at the collegiate level. You may just want to do your own thing and then, continue to see where that goes, especially if you're achieving a certain level of success. But, the modeling thing comes in and you start doing a ton of that. And that's not a lot of people, it's funny, and I could talk to you about this. Not a lot of people understand getting into that requires a certain amount of like, not everybody's comfortable in their own skin. You know what I mean? So you have to get insanely comfortable in your own skin to do that type of stuff. And you're doing it at a young age, which is great because you're going to overcome a lot of the migraines of, like, am I comfortable doing this? Is this something I want to do? Does it make sense for me? And I imagine you're doing it with a lot of older women that are more dialed in and have done it and come from probably a fitness background and everything else. So you're jumping into the Shark Tank with some of these people and that's not easy to do either. You know, you have to get good, you know, as dumb as that sounds, you have to get good at, and you know, it's a craft too. It's not like anything else, you know, you have to
during one of those when I was modeling, they asked me if I could do a fitness photo shoot, and I was like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do? I don't know how to do this. Like I started searching up like how people did this and how like the poses and everything. It was hard. But I mean, the outcome was good, and I think it's helped me a lot with like confidence, and I guess I can use that too in shooting. Like it all comes together.
You can use it in anything, because once you feel it's what I try to explain to people is, you know, because in marketing, I've done a gazillion of these shoots. You have to get comfortable in your own skin. That's the best way to do it. And there's a degree of acting involved. There's a degree of, you know, so you have to get comfortable in your own skin. And until you are, it's hard to do all those different things. You have to, you have to really hone your craft. And it's like anything else. It's a job, right? Like you're paid to do them. So you have to make it make sense, or you're given X amount of free stuff or whatever it is. And there's long hours involved with some of those shoots. They take sometimes an hour, 2 hours to go through the makeup and all that jazz. So you're getting comfortable with a side of the business that just takes time sometimes to get dialed in. And most of the time people start out shooting and they shoot. And then when it comes time and they get sponsors and they have to start to get in front of the camera, they have to relearn that. You're learning both sides of it, so it'll make it makes your progression that much better. Now, at what point does Volquartsen come in, and do you start to think like, okay, I can do something here? Like I have companies looking at me. At what point in the journey do you start working with those guys and everything starts to come together?
Well, I didn't think I was like actually that important in the shooting life, if you can say that. I like actually when I started getting like admirers and like people that were like, oh my god, you shoot really well, and I started like getting known into that world, because when I first came in, I had no idea who was who. I didn't know I was practicing with Ethan Inokano. He was like the national champion. I didn't know who he was, but once I started, well, not winning, but like going to competitions, letting myself like be there, like going out of like the state, Florida, like stuff like that.
You're like, this is something. Like it's like this is becoming a thing.
It was very shocking for me, because I never experienced something like this. It was just like, oh, let's go to McAllen, which is an hour away from where I am. Let's go compete. It's just a small competition. And when I started going to nationals, and when I went to Pro-Am and I saw Lena, and then I went to NRA, I started seeing everyone. I met Jesse, Max. I actually went to go eat with Max. I was like, wow, like this is actually really cool. Like I can get somewhere with this. And then I won the national championship, and I was like, wow, like I started looking further into like bigger opportunities, and Volquartsen was a really big opportunity for me and for my coach and for my parents. Like I felt like all the hard work I put in actually like
was paying
to
off.
Be in Volquartsen.
Yeah. It's, I love those like aha moments when you're like, I got something here, because you reflect on them. You look back and you're like, you know, it's kind of like, you're like, wow, you know, I actually can do something with this. You know, I can actually make a few bucks. I mean, down the line, if it really pans out, that's when, you know, when you get to a Max Shane or JJ level, you can start to make a living doing it. And you're like, this is my life. Do you think that that's a route or a way you would go, or do you see it as something of more of a hobby? Or are you like Colby, where, you know, I see Colby as more of a guy who's going to be working at a firearms company. Well, I know he's going to be, I don't know if it's announced yet, but, you know, and being an engineer and being, you know, kind of like his mother was, involved in the inner workings of, and Shane's the same way in many ways, you know, involved in the inner workings of a brand. Where do you see it going for you?
Honestly, I do see myself like living off of this if I do get the opportunity. But honestly, my dream is to become an FBI agent. And if I do get that opportunity, I'll still do this as a hobby. But I mean, if I can become a professional shooter, I would be totally down to keep doing this. and to keep getting sponsors and like working for companies. I think that would be awesome. Like, I admire a lot of people that do that. Starting with Cheyenne, because she's like my age. I heard her podcast last week, and I was like, wow, like I never knew her like that. We're in the same team, but it's awesome to see how like people start realizing once they start growing older, like what they want to do. So I don't know, like it's hard right now. Yeah. Especially right now in the conditions we're in. Like I can't really practice. I can't really go to competitions. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to see the path, right? And I always talk to people about pathing, and you have to kind of see your path, and that might not present itself yet. You're young. And what I tell people all the time, whether it's like college, and if you go to A&M, you may do it through the summers and everything else, and then you might start to see your path towards the end of that, like, geez, you know, I really want to do this, or I really want to do that, and it'll change 5 times. I mean, if you asked me going into college what I wanted to be, I probably would have told you an astronaut. But like, you know, you'll start to figure out what that pathing looks like, and that's what it comes down to, you know. And Cheyenne's a unique one because similar to you, she's multi-pronged. I don't see her in the shooting world, you know, forever per se. And I see her as she does, I see her, you know, and when I say shooting world, I say competition world. I see her elevating to a level where she's more involved in maybe the politics of it. And I see her serving a higher purpose in it. But I think that that's her calling. And I think that, you know, she's one of those people, like, you know, some people are just really great front people for brands, and they're well-spoken, and they're able to do all the different things. And that has a place too. And some people are really good at bringing it all together, being great competitors, as well as all the different things. Now, competitive shooting, one of the problems with it is nobody watches it. So that's one of the no one watches. No one knows who it is because they can't figure it out. And I've been critical of IDPA and IPSC. They're kind of all over the place, and they have to figure out their marketing, because I believe you guys are the stars, and they don't do a great job making you guys the stars. It's still a very country bumpkin thing, and they haven't, you know, they haven't taken the marketing seriously enough that elevates it to a level that it's, you know, it's like you guys are paid like baseball players or football. You know what I mean? You guys have to get to that point, and it has to get mainstream sponsors involved, and they just haven't done a great job elevating it until they unite it all and bring it all together. And it's not IDPA, IPSC, this, that. It's all one thing, like Major League Shooting. You know, it needs to get to that point, and it needs to get televised. And
because every time people ask me what I do, no one understands, and I have to explain from the very beginning, and it's really hard to explain because when you're not part of it, you won't understand. Like, if you don't see it, you don't practice it, and then it's really hard because there's so many things, there's so many categories. So the problem is, Anna, you don't see this. I fight these battles, and you've heard me talk about it on the show. You know, I've told multiple people, the NSSF, everybody, they have to get these different sects in a room, meaning IDPA, IPSC, they got to get them all in a room. And they have to say, listen, motherfuckers, you know, this is what has to be done. And, you know, this is what you have to do. And they have to just basically call it National Shooting League or something, NSL. So you can say, I shoot in the NSL. You know what I mean? And that would be awesome. Something like that. And they have to bring in a major sponsor. They have to figure out how to put the score on the screen. And they have to put they're not going to get a cable deal. But if they know they're not going to get a cable deal, they have to stream it. And they have to stream it on one channel that everybody watches so everyone can see these shooting competitions, because they are exciting. But the problem is they can't seem to get the score. They can't seem to figure it out. And part of it is because they're run by guys that are 150 years old that have no idea what they're doing in the marketing. And that's a conversation, you know, I don't want to drag you into because, you know what I mean? You compete. Let me fight that battle. But it's just pure stupidity. And they have to pay someone the right money to bring it all together. And it can be done. It's if you bring in the right entities and the right people, it can be done, and money can be made on it. Because if it was behind like a $9.99, like it's, you know, it's so easy to do streaming now. If it was behind a $9.99 a month pay portal or something, and you got everybody to sign up and everybody to participate, it would make money, and the advertising would go a long way. It's really simple.
And, you know, I would go out and do it myself if I could stake it. You know, it's a matter of dialing it in and having, you know, the morons that run all these different agencies come together and say, okay, you know.
For sure.
But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Like when I went to eat, when all this COVID started going on, and the only sport that was on TV was bowling. And I was like, wow, like that's weird. Like I've never seen bowling on TV. Like I knew it was a sport, but it wasn't really like entertaining like basketball, or like you don't know like who those people are. And I was like, wow, like I don't know who these people are. Everyone's watching it because it's the only thing that's going on right now.
The problem is when you talk to these people about Twitch or, you know, Vimeo or any streaming, anything, they don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Because you know, I don't want to, you know, like I said, I don't want to drag you into it, but they're just not well versed enough in that space. And if somebody was smart, they would just reboot the whole thing into one entity, stream it, sell it as a package, simple. And that's the way to do it. And it's going to take time and it has to be built up, but it's the way to do it. And there's one entity that has the money in the coffers to do it and pull everybody together, but that's another story for another time. But besides that, you know, I think in your lifetime in shooting, they're going to figure it out, and they'll figure it out at some point, you know. And at some point you guys will all get paid what you deserve, and you know what I mean, and it'll all shake out. Right now, shooting and sponsorships are still very much in the dark ages. They haven't ascended to a level where, you know, there's a certain amount of prominence and respect that, you know, that comes with it. It's still very like, unless somebody's wearing the shirt walking around SHOT Show, you don't know what they do. And
exactly, it's kind of like new to like everyone, but it's not new. Like no one really like knows what it is. Like you see a person wearing a Volquartsen jersey, and you're like, wow, like they're from Volquartsen. It's not really like if you see Jessie, like, oh, she's Jessie, like she doesn't have to be wearing her jersey.
Yeah, I mean, getting your brand dialed in, and eventually it will fix itself. It will get to that point. But you know, I think for the most part, what you're doing is great, and I think what you're doing will transcend. Now, let me ask you this: you start doing all these things, it's all super cool. Are any of your family members? I mean, I'm sure your immediate family was bought in, but were anyone like, "The hell is she doing?"
Yeah, actually, a lot, and I still get a little bit of hate from it from some family members. But I mean, I don't do it as a negative thing. I do it as a sport, and especially in my high school, like no one would understand what I would do. Like they would be very happy for me because I won nationals, and they would post a picture, and then the shooting would go on, and they would take down the picture. It was really hard for like to get people to understand what this sport was, because when you just go with like guns and it's all negative, like you're never gonna win that fight. I was actually talking to my dad, and I was like, what if I get asked like what I think about like gun rights or like whatever, and he's like, you're not gonna win. Like you're not gonna like at all. Like it's your decision. You're deciding to do this sport. You like it. You're not doing anything wrong. And if there's someone that actually knows how to handle a gun, it's you. Like it's no one else. You don't have to prove that to anyone else. So I actually just ignored a lot of things that would come into like the fact that like I was doing something wrong. So I actually ignored everything, and I just kept going on. The hardest part was like my school. They wouldn't let me go sometimes to like competitions, and like they brought the news to school because they did a prayer for school shootings, and I don't know, I felt kind of like not betrayed, because I know like obviously we're praying for the people that like lost their lives during the shooting, but they would be very mean. Like they would be like, no, she can't go to the competitions because she missed 10 days of school. So it was really hard to like really let them understand that I wasn't doing this to be like shooting people. Like that's not it. Like it's a sport, like exactly like everyone else. And when I started winning like national competitions, state, they were like, wow, like you're actually good. Like you can like promote the school at the same time. And I was like, no, thank you. Like, that's way past behind me. Like, you guys didn't let me, you guys didn't support me. So I think that was like the hardest part. But other than that, like, my family supports me so much. Just obviously safety. But I think I've gone like a very good way with this, and like people understand now. And it was just really hard at the beginning.
Yeah, listen, this is something that it's going to be, it's going to, you're never going to win, right? So you got to kind of, you're doing something where you got to do your thing.
Yeah.
Do your thing and let the rest take care of itself. And then when it's all settled, and a lot of people, they're not going to understand. And as time goes on, things change, things evolve. Let them change, let them evolve. And you just kind of do you. And if you do you, the rest will take care of itself. Just kind of do your thing. And when you get older, people will say, geez, no, she's really into this. Like, if I told people years ago I'd be hosting a podcast, they'd be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So I think you just have to accept certain truths, you can't operate in a space where you worry about what people are doing, and just kind of put the blinders on and forget about the rest. If you know your path and you believe in your path, focus on that and just do your thing. You'll do great things. That's a fact. It's just you're driven, you're focused, you have a certain way about you. I could tell you're dialed in.
Thank you.
Just stay with that and forget the rest. But you're going to have to develop thick skin, because everybody's going to have something to say. Everybody's going to have a comment to make. Everybody's going to have, their own, I don't like to say, negative or whatever the hell it is. They're just going to know, they're going to know what's best for you. And you're just going to have to be like, shut the fuck up. I know what's good for me.
Yeah. And it also comes with jealousy, like a long way.
You're a wise woman.
I think that's part of it too.
That's a lot of it. And people will say something, and behind that is going to be a large dose of jealousy. So just, kind of do your thing. Don't worry about what everyone else has to say, and focus on that. Now, as time goes on and you start to build a name for yourself in the business, you should be proud of what you're doing, and putting stuff out there that's public, or deciding eventually, if you get to that point that you want to put certain things out there publicly, you go ahead, you do it, and don't expect to please everybody, because I'm going to tell you something that I've learned. You are going to make, people are not going to like you no matter what. There's going to be people out there that are going to have something to say no matter what. Yeah. So you have to just put those blinders on and just say, I'm doing me. Just smile. Hey, great. Good for you. One of the best things you could ever learn to say is, you win, I lose, and just move on. Yeah. So it'll be amazing. Now you get to go to SHOT Show, right? And some of the shows you get to kind of.
I actually haven't gone to SHOT Show.
You've been to NRA. I haven't had the
opportunity. I had been to NRA. Yeah.
What do you think?
I loved it. It was like heaven. I had never gone. I didn't know that existed. Actually, I had no clue what this was, but I walked like 5 times around everything. I don't know. I was just like amazed. I was telling my dad, I was like, wow, like this actually exists. And then obviously my favorite part was the protesters outside.
Now you get this opportunity, you go to NRA, and you get to kind of walk around, and you get to see all the brands, everything. Is it what you expected?
From some, yes. From others, I didn't. I would there's like some brands that I would expect them to be like having like more of a show, not a show, but like a bigger presentation, like 6R. Like, wow, I'm impressed. Like, you would walk past them and it would be like amazing, like a show, like lights. It was open. It was really cool. I liked them like that, but there was like other ones that were like bland. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't really know a lot about them, but I think the attention catcher like wasn't there.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to take in, and SHOT Show's sensory overload, and so can NRA. But it's a
Yeah.
great opportunity to walk around and see some
Oh
brands
yeah.
you grew up on, and
Yeah.
maybe you're trying to see if they're brands you ultimately want to work with, or brands
Yeah.
that make sense for you. And it's a great opportunity to get those touch points and have the ability to kind of just you know, see them and talk to the
Yeah.
people. And it's like anything else. When you meet some people in life as time goes on, some people will be such a letdown and some people will be a let up. And it just depends on what your expectation is. SIG in many ways is the mecca. And there's some that have established a certain presence at these shows and at these events, and and they live up to it. And some have not. It just depends on what your end game is, and what you're trying to accomplish in the business. When you look at these brands, you can sometimes take away a lot of knowledge about, I thought I wanted to work with them, but the reality is, maybe I don't,
Yeah, exactly.
So it's an advantageous opportunity to kind of get the opportunity to kind of bop around and see some of them and spend some time and take it all in. Now, you're working with Volquartsen. What other brands are you working with now?
I'm with I get sponsored by Vortex.
Mm-hmm.
I have some sites, and then I don't really have a lot of sponsors. It's just like small right now. Like I'm not really focusing on that. I just wanted to have like a main one. But let me remember. I do Vortex. I do Volquartsen. Let me get my jersey actually. And then I did Bull. I have a gun from Bull. And I used to do I do international firearms. I do cleanse oil. It's not really that big, not like other famous professional shooters. But I'm trying to like stay focused on like one, which is Volquartsen right now. I mean, sponsors I think they're a very important part. I think they do help a lot, and I feel like I can keep going on with this. But yeah, like the main one is Volquartsen right now.
Now, sponsorship's a funny thing, and I try to explain it to people, and you have the right approach. You're like, I want to focus on 1, 2, not many. And I like your answer there, because people try to get 10 of them, 20 of them, 30 of them, and it's not the right approach. Because you can't focus and you can't get it right. Do you ever feel the pressure of like, I need to get like 5 of these and I need to make money now? Or are you just kind of like, I want to build the base and I want to grow it?
Yeah, my base is what I'm focusing on right now. I don't really care to have sponsors, because I don't think that's like that. What makes you like? What makes you is like you building yourself, going to competitions, looking at yourself, like making other companies look at you, not really focusing on like, oh my God, I need this sponsor and I need this one. Like, I don't think that's like the main goal for me, like in my opinion. But if I do have the opportunity to get sponsors, like I'm more than grateful, but that's not my main concern.
Who would you like to work with down the line, you think?
I'm not sure. I'm not like a company like Sig Sauer, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. But I don't really. I think my goal was Volquartsen. Since I do more steel and rimfire, I think that was like my biggest goal. Like
if you ever get into like PCC or something.
I'm sponsored by Leadstar. I have my 9mm PCC, and I do Pro-Am. I think they're awesome. I mean, their gun is awesome.
It's amazing how many directions you can go in and how many different things you can participate in. and
Yeah.
the world's kind of your oyster. It's just a matter of figuring out the direction you want to go in. I mean, you know, obviously, SIG, Glock offer their advantages, but don't rule out, you know, some other brands out there that are exciting, B&T and some of the different folks. There's so many great companies out there. I mean, none of this is a shocker. I know Volquartsen, to everybody listening, they specialize in the rimfire space, so it's a different animal, but you know, so none of this takes away from anything they're doing, and what they do the best at it, and they have one of the hands down best teams to work with. And I think that's what I loved about them, because they focus a lot on you. Like, there's a lot of other companies I've worked with, and Volquartsen actually focuses on you. They know how to treat you well. Like, they take into mind what you're saying. I think that's awesome. Like, that you feel like you're so far away from them, but like you feel like you're actually there with them, because they take very good care of you. Yeah, Scott has a very open mind, and that's rare, and he's an owner that listens. So when you talk to him and you have conversations, he's someone that not only listens to the shooters, he listens to the parents, he listens to everybody, and he takes it all in. I know he and I have had multiple long conversations about branding, marketing, you know, and everything else, and he wants to grow and he wants to develop it, and he's doing it the right way. He takes his time with it, and not everybody does that. You know, you get all these unique opportunities to travel because of shooting and modeling and all these different things, so it creates a very unique life for yourself. Do you find that hard to balance and have a little bit of a, what I'd call like a normal teenager life? I mean, you're not in movies or anything, but you have a unique life. Do you find that that's sometimes hard to juggle?
Yes, it is. Especially the weekends when you have competitions and you want to hang out late with your friends. And sometimes I'm not able to do that, or I have to leave early because I have to get enough sleep for my competition, or I have to leave all weekend to go somewhere else to compete. Yeah, I do. I actually miss some of my stuff from my senior year because of shooting. I mean, I don't regret it at all, but I think it was really hard for me to decide what to do, but I decided to shoot. So I gave it my all. But yeah, it is really hard sometimes not being able to socialize with friends or like family gatherings because I have to be shooting. And obviously it goes the same with my dad because he's the one that's always with me.
Right.
So I think he obviously loses some stuff too. But I mean, he's doing it for me and I'm doing it for him. And we both enjoy doing this a lot. Like, I think I'm living his dream.
Well, I mean, I think you'd be living a lot of people's dream, especially if you start making real money in it. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's a sacrifice now to pay off later. So, you know,
for sure.
you have to kind of do it. Now, do you foresee yourself at some point after, you know, college, you know, maybe, we talked about this, where your future goes. Do you see yourself progressing beyond just doing rimfire and doing open or doing carry optics? I mean, do you want to do a much larger platform to kind of get yourself out there a little bit more? Right now I'm just focusing on CO Challenge, but I was planning on going to Pro-Am. I love doing USPSA with my PCC. I actually prefer my PCC than a normal pistol. With USPSA, I think it's easier for me. But yeah, like I do want to focus more on that too, so that I can have more opportunities, more competitions. And that's something I haven't done lately because time and like I have a lot of things, and this is my first year of college and it's really hard, and then this coronavirus. But I do see myself expanding to more opportunities. Now, I noticed the Disney thing. You have this thing with Disney. What's the Disney thing about? Well, my sister works there. Oh, all right. I had a cousin that worked there once. That's crazy. Really? Yeah. So you go to Disney. You some people are like Disney weirdos. You know that, right? Like they love Disney so much. Are you like one of? It's okay if you are. Are you like one of those people? Yes, we are. So you go there. You love it. Yeah. Now, when you go there, what's your favorite park, and what's your favorite thing to do in that park?
I think my favorite park is Animal Kingdom. And my favorite thing to do there is watch the Lion King show.
Oh my God. You know, the food at all those places is terrible. That's the only problem.
Really?
The food's awful. The food is terrible. You can't get a decent meal. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's out of control. But there's people that they're crazy about Disney. Everything they own is Disney. And I had a friend once, she was super into it and she was out of control about it. People buy the watches, they make Disney everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like figurines, it's out of control. So when you go there, are you the Disney weirdo, or is someone in your family, one of you guys go crazy by the ears every time? How crazy does it get?
Yeah, it does get really crazy, but since my sister works there, she has a lot of things, so we don't usually buy stuff.
Good.
But actually, when my parents got married, they lived in this apartment, and everything was Mickey Mouse and Disney. So, yeah.
That's crazy. Listen, every time I go to Florida and visit my friends, I love to go. I secretly love it. I like Universal Studios, but I'm a huge...
I don't like Universal.
Oh,
I hate it.
You will when you're older. I do like Epcot. I know you'd probably say Epcot's lame, but to me, it's the coolest one. But there's Main Street Disney's probably the best thing just to walk down. So I'm a fan, right? That's why I ask. It is, but I'm not I don't buy I don't buy a single stuffed animal or anything. But you do know what I'm talking about. People get crazy. People get crazy. They're like Disney crazies, and your sister works there. Is she a character? She is.
I'm not supposed to say this, but yes.
Yeah, well, you can't say which one. I know that. Yeah, you can't say which one, but she's a character. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as we know. All right, we're good. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. And there's a whole, I know some of the inner workings, there's a whole city under the ground. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen some things there, but, getting the opportunity to go, how many times have you gone?
I think last year I went 3 times.
Oh, you guys are addicted. You guys got to get help. That's awesome. And they closed it, right?
Yeah, it's been closed. I think this is the longest time they've closed.
Have you gone for Halloween?
No, I haven't. It's cool, but my sister says it's the best. Yeah,
it's the best time to go. You got to go for Halloween. And when you're old enough to drink, you can go to Epcot. And I don't drink.
And drink around the world.
Yes. So yeah, you can go to Epcot when they do Beer Fest or whatever it is.
Yeah,
now I don't drink, but when I go to Epcot for that, I do.
You do,
because you got to do it once. It's amazing. A lot of fun. But most of the parks, people don't realize this. Disney's a dry park. You can't drink in it. So people don't understand that. So most of the parks are dry. But Epcot, it's a great experience to go and do that. That's fun. I mean, that's awesome. And getting to do that with your family, you make lifelong memories. It's a blast. And, of course, you get the passes cheap, so that makes it a lot easier. And
just fun. $10.
Yeah, they're really good about taking care of the families.
Yeah,
that's important. So it'll be a lot of fun. I imagine once it opens up, you'll get right back in there and visit.
For sure.
But have you purchased has your family or you purchased any of the crystal figurines or anything like that?
For our Christmas tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, you guys are in deep. Now I know. It is fun though. No, it's cool. Who's the one more into it, your dad or your mom?
My mom.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's always a little weirder when the dad's overly into it.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good thing. We're safe there. We're covered. That's good though. I tell people this all the time. Going to those places or getting a chance to visit them and have some fun, and then having a family member that works there makes it that much easier because you learn all the little secrets. And if you're a resident there, you get crazy deals too.
Yeah, well, my sister's a resident, and she goes in for free, but yeah, you do.
Yeah, you get crazy deals. So that's fun. That's awesome. And at least, now, Corona's given everybody a chance to have perspective and appreciate things. So, you kind of, when you get back in the saddle with some of that stuff, you'll appreciate it that much more. And it's, it's given everyone really a unique perspective. What have you gained from it? The time spent home and getting an opportunity to kind of recalibrate and hit zero. What has Corona done for you?
I've actually relaxed a lot. I was very hyper with school and shooting, and I think getting some time off. I obviously miss shooting a lot, but I think that stress that I had because Worlds was like a month away and I hadn't practiced. I think it was a good opportunity for me to relax because I had so many things going on with school. It was really hard. I'm with 16 hours right now. And then I would leave school at 4:30 and then I had to be at the range at 5. I think I relaxed a lot with Corona.
Just unwind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Corona's given a lot of people perspective, and I think it's given a lot of people a chance to do what you just said. Take a giant step back, reassess everything, put things in perspective, and give people more time to kind of value the things that are important to them.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with a little extra family time and having the ability to kind of spend some time with the people you love, really. And,
And actually, I love it since I'm an introvert. I love being in my room. I love working. I love doing my homework. I have a lot of homework, so I'm actually like concentrating a lot on it. And since it's almost over, I'm working extra hard, especially being here at home. So it's good. Yeah.
Well, good. That's the stuff that's important now. When we come out of this, it's going to be really important to hit the ground running, and that's where the real work comes in. So everybody's going to be digging deep. This is great stuff. It's amazing. And I think you're going to have an insanely bright future. It's just going to be now a matter of where you want to go with it. And you have plenty of time to decide that, and take your time. Don't rush into it. If I was to give you any advice, if you listen to it, you don't have to have every decision. You don't have to make every decision. Take your time, enjoy it. Enjoy the moment and go to the shows and take it all in and meet all the people and figure out what direction you want to go in it. The beauty of shooting is you can go in so many directions. You can go into the political side. You can go into the competition side and stay there. You can eventually work with a good brand and get into the executive side of it, get into the marketing, get into the branding if you want, and you'll be well suited to do whatever it is that you want to do, especially if you ever decide, hey, I want to get into the marketing side of it, because you've done all the things. You've done the modeling, you've done the shooting, you can speak from that experience, and that's a unique perspective, Anna. I come from a similar side of it, and it gives you, the one thing I had going for me is I had worked in finance, I graduated the academy, I had all those different things going for me, and if you decide to do federal work, and then eventually stem into it, you'll have that going for you too. So, if you decide to do that, I mean, again, that's a lot of work too. And that's another thing, but 4 years is a long time and you'll figure it out. If you worked for the feds, what would you want to do inside the agency? I
think a special agent at the FBI.
You want to go after drugs or push paper? Homicides, deaths,
not
what?
Drugs. I don't know. I think maybe like immigration or just, I don't know. I have to look into that, but just, I want to get into it first to see. And then before that, I wanted to go into the Air Force to be in linguistics. I don't know. I have a lot of things in mind. So I'm not so sure what I want to do.
It'll change 10 times. You don't have to know.
Yeah.
It'll change.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll change 50 times. I think Cheyenne changes what she wants to do week to week, so don't worry. You're in good company. It'll change. It'll evolve. So, keep doing your thing, and, you'll have a lot of fun. Now, as you put this stuff out there, I know your profile's private. Do you get, when you visit the shows, do you ever run into any weirdos that recognize you and are strange? Does your dad have to beat anybody up? Has that happened yet?
Through Instagram, I do, and through Facebook, I do. Not so much in person, but I do really get creepy messages. But, I mean, and especially because my mom is connected to my Facebook page, so she gets
She's
those
supervising.
messages.
Good.
Yeah, she's supervising it, and so she gets those messages, but I know how to ignore it, and I mean, obviously not to accept it, and she goes crazy, because she's like, oh my God, they just sent you that. I'm just like, yeah, you should see my Instagram. I do get a lot of those.
Watch out for the weirdos. Yeah. Don't keep dad out. Keep mom in it. Dad will lose his mind. Yeah, absolutely. But that's funny. You just got to keep a level head about it. And as you put yourself out there more, it's, they get weird. You just got to delete or, whatever. Just ignore that crap.
Ignore it.
So listen, you got a bright future. You're going to have a lot of fun. And listen, enjoy it. The traveling, everything, every opportunity that you get, it's just an opportunity to grow, meet as many people as you can, take it all in and enjoy it. It's truly is. It's, as I tell like Colby and Shay, this is you guys' time, us old bastards and everybody like us, we're kind of like reaching the point where, we're the old guys. So, you got to kind of make this your time and enjoy it, truly enjoy it. And I think that you will, and I think you'll do great things. So I want to thank you for doing it and taking the time to do the show. Let everybody know where to find you and how to look you up and all that. And any other sponsors you want to shout out. I know we shout out many of them, but let everybody know where to find you and how to contact you.
My Instagram is Sofia _MM. Should I spell that out?
No, what's with the MM though?
My last name.
Oh, that's how you did it. _MM.
Yeah.
All right. And
then Ana Sofia Montemayor for my Facebook page.
Okay.
And I'll go public for you guys.
Yeah, go public for at least a day. And listen, what about contacting you? If somebody wants to keep it clean, but usually shooting questions, anything like that?
My email.
Yep.
Ana Sofia MONT123@gmail.
There you have it. Listen, I can't thank Volquartsen enough for bringing this together. Big shout out to them. Amazing.
Big shout out.
Yeah, love them. Love what Scott's doing there. If everyone gets a chance, go check them out. Check out any of the sponsors on the show. Head over to the website, www.johnbartoloshow.com, and check that out. And check out Anna. She's got some awesome stuff. If you're looking for something, question about shooting, you're young, you want to get into it, reach out to her. I'm sure she'll take a minute to answer your question. Keep it clean. Listen, thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's fun. All right, we're out.
It was. Thank you.